next person is a female illusionist portrayed by distinguished Toastmaster Tom Tiboni. Anita Togobox was created in 2013 when asked to participate in a fundraiser. Anita had a blast and wanted to continue this journey. Later that year, she was introduced to the Imperial Court of Arizona, a nonprofit organization who helps other nonprofits raise money. She participated in a closet ball where she placed second, alternate, out of 3 contestants. The following year, she tried again and she placed first, alternate, out of 2 contestants. So there was a theme there. Last place, last place, last place. Anita has continued to stay active with the Imperial Court and District 3 Toastmasters. She, as Tom Tiboni, is currently serving as the president for the Imperial Court and was our district contest manager. Please help me welcome distinguished Toastmasters Tom Tiboni. No. Please help me welcome Anita Togobox.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. We've been waiting to #RoastPeter. I created a hashtag in the past couple weeks trying to get people up here to want to roast him. Currently, I have 3 people. I have a little bit more time to get some more. So if you're interested in roasting him, let me know. I'm going to go ahead and start with a couple things. I have 1 item, and it wouldn't be fair to let his 2 cohorts off easily. So I'm going to start with Karen. Karen, it was so wonderful to see you on Zoom meetings this year. I have no clue who you were at times, or if you were Peppermint Patty's teacher from the Peanuts. Wah, 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 wah. David, I had to get my information for you from Shelley. And all she had to do was say was, just text me. Let me text you when I get home. I'm busy. The one thing I have for you is, does Christy's name badge read co-district director for this year? It will. Alrighty, so Peter. You know, it's not easy to get set up like this. Dom, who's left the room, said you can't grow hair instantly. I'm a bald man, and I was able to grow this all tonight. I even went out of my way and did my nails, toes too, just for you. It's not easy being a woman sometimes, but you know, we all live for it. I want to know, and I know Jim's not here, who was his realignment chair? Anybody know? Anybody remember?
Jeff.
Was it Jeff? Jeff, you didn't tell us that the realignment was going to include Palm Springs this year. Because Peter spent a lot of time in Palm Springs, and I know he was part of Leaders Plus, but he would commute from Palm Springs to Phoenix every now and then. So I'm going to bring up the next person to go ahead and toast us, and we will go ahead and go with Karen. Please welcome to the stage your... Huh? Yeah, this year. Program Quality Director Karen Hewitt.
What an amazing introduction.
Closer to the mic, please.
Just testing.
Still can hear me?
Still can't hear me?
No.
Well, you know, this really sets up nicely, because the first time I met Peter, he scared the hell out of me. I mean, seriously, he is a total... Okay. Thank you. He's a total alpha dog. He stands there at the front of a room in TLI. He acts all tall, all big, and he barks orders, and he stands there and he's like, oh my God, he scares me. I need to do what he says because he scares me. Really, his thing is that he wants to be... Still didn't get working. This is how Peter really thinks he is. Does anyone agree with this? That this is how Peter thinks he is? He's this big alpha man, ex-military, in charge. He thinks he knows it all. Sarah, you took one of my things I was going to talk about because he likes to bark orders, such as, if you're in contest and you do not have a role, don't go. And yet he shows up. Or the other one is, we need to help our past district leaders and have calls every month. Don't worry, we'll set it up. So you know what he does? He sets up a call, gets on it, and me and David are on a different Zoom link that Peter said, going, where the hell is he? He's like, oh, I didn't send you the Zoom link. I think the easiest way to put in is this more of it. Especially because the first time I saw him at TLI, I thought he was this alpha man, big and tall, but you get close to him, I think we're the same height. There's not much between us. He's this little chihuahua. All back, no bite. But do you want to know the real secret to Peter? He is a bit of a dog. He's not this dumb and pinchy. He is not this chihuahua. He's this little puppy dog because he will do anything that you want if you ask him nice enough. For the last 4 months, I'm done at the end of this year. How many chairs are you signed up for next year, Peter? 3? He's done, but we ask, he goes, okay, I'll do that. And it is to the point where he will do anything you ask. He's such a good sport. He's really this puppy dog that you get him to roll over, tickle his tummy a little bit, and he'll say, okay, I'll do this. To the point where we had this idea talking about bad Zoom meetings, and I think he wishes this was deleted. We made a joke that, wouldn't it be funny if someone stood up in their boxer shorts? What did Peter do? He showed up to the Zoom meeting in his boxer shorts. And let us record it. And if you know he's an accountant, if anyone's on TikTok, you know the joke about accountants. Chrissy, what's the joke about accountants? Yeah, they're the OnlyFans. I think this was his debut. Peter, from big scary man who scared the hell out of me the first time I met you. Literally, I was terrified of you for like the first year. You really are the puppy dog that'll do anything that's asked.
Give it up for your program quality director, Cameron Hewitt. So I have a confession to make. I recently was dating the produce manager at my local grocery store. My Toastmasters Club got wind of it, and they wouldn't let us date any longer.
Why?
The produce manager, they wouldn't let us date any longer. But I'm fun. I'm also so honored that Peter asked me to do this for you tonight. I've had a recently part-time gig. I was working in a juice factory, but I got canned because I couldn't concentrate. All right, give it up for our next roaster. Please help me welcome your new district director, David Hopper.
Just gonna wait for the PowerPoint to come on. So if you learn 2 things about Peter and being on Zoom this year, the 2 things that most people know is Peter lost his job this year, and Peter always seemed to be distracted whenever he was on the Zoom meeting. But if you were on as many Zoom meetings with him as I was, you know that the 2 actually are related, because Peter's been doing a whole bunch of part-time jobs in the background of his Zoom, but he just didn't want us to know about it. Like the first part-time job he had was in an underground fighting ring. He was actually an underground fighting champion turned referee. And the only reason why I know this is because sometimes you'd hear in the background them chanting his nickname, the Toast Smasher, Toast Smasher, Toast Smasher. Another part-time job that Peter had, he actually started an all-male review called Toast and Dells. Peter started this one just because his first name lended really well to the occupation. Now, Sara Mayer may remember during her contest, Peter said he was at a wedding. And Peter started a whole wedding venue. But what we didn't know is he was toasting the royals. That was the wedding he was at. He started a toasting business. Now, one of the other things that you see is every now and then you see, this one took me a long time to figure out, you see a little kid come up and sit on Peter's lap. And he always said, that's my grandchild, that's my grandchild. Well, I started to notice it wasn't the same kid. And so what I figured is he started a daycare service called Toast and Tots. And this is where he gets his fighters for the Underground Fighting Championship. He trains them. Now, Tom, you mentioned that during the whole year that you'd hear Peter going back and forth from California. And I thought he was doing his new job. Well, he was doing his new job, but unfortunately, his new job was getting people toasted. Now, these are all the jobs that Peter didn't want us to know about, but there was one job that Peter wanted to tell us about, that he wanted everybody to think was his job, but nobody really believed him. And that was as a professional basketball star for the Toast Raptors. Peter, I want to thank you for all the help you gave me this year. And as you move to the role of past district director, I want to teach you one phrase that you now have to use in front of all the statements going forward. And that phrase is, well, in my year we did it.
Thank you, David. Now, I know some of you haven't let me know if you wanted to roast or not. And I know some of you are afraid about wanting to be careful about saying certain things. All you have to do is say your Tourette's syndrome took over tonight. I use that all the time when I have. My next roaster is going to be Edwin Weston. Please welcome Edwin.
Peter. I know you're an avid baseball fan. I know you're a former Marine. So, before I get this out of my way, as a former Navy man, I must say, it's been a pleasure working with you. First time I met you was in TLI. You was teaching a class. You had this look on your face with, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna work my way through this. A typical Marine move. I like that. Secondly, the second time I was in a TLI class with you, you just changed it a little bit. You had a little bit of, I'm confident I know what I'm doing, but I still don't know what I'm doing. Then I learned that you was finance chair for the district. I said, okay. They said he's an accountant. I said, okay. Finance and accounting. I have a thing about bean counters. I said, can he count past 5? I said, okay, maybe he can. But he turned out to be a very good finance manager. Then I learned he was running for the trio. I said, okay, let's think about this for a moment. He was TLI, he worked at TLI's facility. He was the finance chair. He's now running for PQD, and he's a former Marine. What does all that have in common? He is not qualified for the job. But I still voted for him. Peter, but in closing, I must say, it's been a pleasure working under you. And the next time you ask me to do something at the very last minute, I'm gonna have to think about this and say to myself, like I said tonight, that is a typical Marine move. Thank you.
Give it up for Edwin Weston. Is there anyone else who wants to come and say a couple words for Peter He's shaking his head no, so that means we should have somebody out there that's willing to
But I
stay.
gotta do it.
All right, here we go. Please welcome your club growth director, DJ Reed.
I wasn't going to say it. I wasn't going to tell you about my first thoughts about Peter. I met him at Graceful Communicators. Hallie Adams introduced us. And I went, oh my God, who is he? And then I asked him a question. And his first remark was, I don't know. I don't care. Whatever you want to do. And you know, during the entire time I've known Peter, his remark has been, I don't know, I don't care, and whatever you want to do. And I've just gotten to the point that I don't even ask Peter anymore. I just tell him. Because volunteering him is much easier than even considering asking him.
Thank you, DJ. That's kind of like asking for forgiveness over asking for permission. Good aspect. Anybody else out there who wants to take a jab at Peter? He's saying he's done. Come on. He's saying he's done. He's trying to flag me down, saying it's not time. All right, come on, Angel. Please welcome your Saguaro Outstanding Toastmaster of the Year, Angel Larena.
Thank you, Anita. Now, Peter, I haven't known you long. The first time I met Peter was in the club's chartering when he showed up in his car on a Zoom call heading to California. So, piggybacking off of David here, who showed him taking the weed to California. Did all of you knew that Peter was moving to California this year, right? You know why he came back to Arizona? Arizona legalized marijuana. You know, when he went to California, he was gonna go into Toastmasters there. Do you know what happened? We don't want no Arizona boy coming telling us what to do. California got it. So they threw a party when you came back to Arizona. Don't worry, Peter, we love you and we'll always be here for you. You and your boxers and your weed.
All right, anything else? Anyone else want to take a jab? All right, Peter said we're good. Oh, Sara Mayer? Oh. Watch out, Peter. Please welcome your outgoing Palo Verde Division Director, Sara Mayer, and your outstanding Division Director this year. Peter, please have him up and have a seat.
This isn't my first roast, but this is the first director that's been sitting in the chair out there. So stand up before we get going. Oh, you already are. Sorry, Peter. Remember I said I was going to be your favorite. I didn't wear my heels tonight. I wasn't planning on doing this, but now I know I was meant to stand here. So the first time I actually met Peter, I was thinking about it. You were doing a TLI training, and you were trying to be all like leadership guru-ish. And you told us not to phone it in. You remember that? When you take a role, don't phone it in. This is your year. Don't just check the box, all this stuff. And you said it really nicely, and then you said, I took this role and I phoned it in. And everybody had you like hook, line, and sinker, and then you said that, and the whole crowd was like, what? And you were like, so don't do what I do, just do what I say. That was your message at the end of not phoning it in. So it's only fitting that the year that you were the director, what did we all do? Phone it in on Zoom. So a couple years ago, you brought this upon yourself. But Peter is really good at barking orders, and as Karen mentioned, shows up at my contest after he sent a really strong email. No one, in all caps, will be there without functionary role. No one. Then he tries to walk in my contest, but not only does he try, he brings Rocky. They come to the contest and he's like, well, I didn't expect you to listen to me. So I'm sorry, nobody listens to you. But I will say, I've never seen anybody so excited in my life than when I showed up at Peter's house last fall. It was his wife. She's like, oh my gosh, somebody's here to take all those awards that are in my garage? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. She had never met me. She was more excited. I go through all those boxes back there to pick up 5 awards for my team, and Peter's like, wait a minute, that's all you're taking? I said, yeah, these are all my people. I think he was afraid that she thought I was gonna literally clean out the entire 4 cabinets in the garage. And I took 4 or 5 awards. So anyway, one lesson I learned from Peter, don't phone it in. And it's been a pleasure serving with you, but don't listen to him ever.
All right, give it up for Sara Mayer. Peter, it has been an honor to serve as a committee member for your year. It's taught me a lot. When Trish and I took on this role for joint contest, and we had to switch it off from an in-person to a virtual, I think I accumulated over 200 volunteer hours from my employer. So thank you so much for being the district director. It's also great to have you in our home club, and hopefully once we start meeting in person again, you won't phone it in. Please, as I return control, thank you for everyone coming out, and return control to our immediate past district director, Peter Salazar.
You know, on Comedy Central, when they do a roast, the roasted gets to roast everyone else. Back. Just kidding. We're going to skip that tonight. Next on the agenda is something. Please help me welcome to lead us with that part and explain it. Past District Governor, Distinguished Toastmaster, Trish Blackwelder.
You're not done yet, dear. How many of you are familiar with the expression post-toastie? Okay. If you're not, let me explain that typically we have an event like this, and then there's a post-event that we have always referred to as post-toastie. Down in the bar, out in the hall, you know. It just occurs where Toastmasters just aren't ready to go home yet, and we have a post-toastie. In a COVID world, post-toasties took the form of hanging out after the Zoom event. You know, the last ones to leave the Zoom window. Pretty much most of the others are gone. Then there's 5 or 6 of us that will hang around and keep talking. Now, the best thing about post-toasties is that you get to hear all the stories about everyone, everything. And one of the stories on a particular event was around past district governors. I are one. Okay. Peter happened to hear that story, and the story went like this. I remember a time when I attended a July Jubilee event like this. And the outgoing district governor was Nancy Starr Cassidy. And there was a group of past district governors at the event that gathered up on stage to determine whether or not Nancy would be worthy of being voted into the past district governor group. I saw Nancy Starr Cassidy sweat for a moment. We don't usually see Nancy sweat. Peter, for some reason, he must be a glutton for punishment, texted me this week and asked me if I would consider reviving that tradition. I would have thought you wanted to do that for David's year, not your year. But okay, we're here. I have a few past district governors in the room. Would you all come up and give me some support during this process, please? Please welcome Jeff Maroon, Jim Davis, Michael Holian, Don Griffith. Are we all here? We're all here? Okay, good. All right. For 365 days, we have had the opportunity to observe the performance of our immediate past district director, Peter Salazar, in leading District 3's ability to achieve the district mission of building new clubs and supporting all clubs in achieving excellence. Policy 7.2 of the Toastmasters International Governing Documents provides additional clarity regarding past district leaders. Past leaders provide district support while working under the direction, did you hear that, under the direction, of the district director by promoting focus on the district mission, acting as an advisor or mentor, encouraging district leaders, helping during district meetings, encouraging leadership participation, and chairing district committees. Did you catch all of those? Okay. It also provides that past leaders may not interfere in district affairs, disrupt district meetings, nor actively support traditions that do not achieve the district mission. Finally, it states a past district directors committee, that would be us, if present, which we are, supports the district and its leaders, we're okay, David, may not engage in district political activity, at least not openly, no, and works under the direction and on tasks assigned by the district director, if you ask nicely. Immediate past district director, Peter Salazar. Are you aware of your continued service commitment for the 2021-2022 Toastmasters term? Okay. Ma'am? Pardon?
I'm not voting it in.
Okay. Okay? We're all comfortable so far? Okay, all right.
A point of order?
Yes.
Is the nominee for the district leadership group, is that person allowed to be, does that person have to keep their residence in Arizona?
That's really good stipulation.
Is it in the policy?
It is not specifically in policy. But that's actually a consideration then we should take under advisement for making our final decision. All right, we'll have to, yeah, we should get Nancy on the phone. No. All right, we'll have a little kibitz here. Well, the nominated leader, I need to ask you, as a member of the past district leaders committee, will you always conduct yourself in a professional manner and adhere to the Toastmasters International core values of integrity, respect, service, and excellence? Hold. Will you agree to abide by the principles outlined in a Toastmasters promise? Will you take personal responsibility for your conduct individually and as a leader of our district? And will you focus on the missions of Toastmasters and not individual disagreements? Will you or will you not?
I will.
Cool. All right. Members of the past district Governors Committee, it's time for us to kibitz. Okay, great. Members of the past District Governors Committee, as experienced district leaders, will you all agree to share your knowledge and experience with our immediate past leaders, helping them to establish their personal service legacy within District 3 and Toastmasters International? Please say I will.
I will. I will.
Okay, thank you. Didn't get to rehearse that part. Okay. Immediate past district director, Peter Salazar, are you ready? I'm ready. You are hereby inducted and acknowledged as a member of the past district governors committee. Welcome aboard. I don't know who I return control to. Oh, okay.
Thank you. Are you guys ready for the 5 major awards?